I showed it to my wife, who is much more kind than I. I mean, me, I'm just blunt and say things. I showed it to my wife, and she buried her head, kind of embarrassed for some of these photos, and went, if you're the first lady, you shouldn't wear things that make you look like a halfback. She said you shouldn't wear things, and she's the nice one. And I remember the story, and I said, how is that any different from the time that I, Jimmy Lakey, was sitting at a cigar establishment, and one of the people in the cigar establishment actually said he used the phrase in describing a certain person. He used the phrase, I have never used it on my own. I think this is crass and a little bit much. But I got in trouble for repeating it to my wife, saying, today at the cigar club, someone used the phrase Chewbacca. And everyone knew or assumed that who this person was talking about. And I told my wife that, and I'm not even going to put the name there. I told my wife that this happened, and she lectured me and told me that was wrong and that was crossing the line and how rude that was. And so last night I show her these photos, and she says, you shouldn't dress to look like a halfback. I said, what's the difference between you saying she looks like a halfback and someone else saying the name Chewbacca? And I don't get the difference. I just don't get the difference. But anyway, there's this one photo up there. This is what I was laughing at. She does, as I looked at it, the comment I put, I said, I don't know if that's a halfback for the University of Miami or a Miami cheerleader skirt from the 1950s. It could go either way. But she's fashion forward. You ought to. I know that's cruel, but it's okay. It's cruel for her to talk about my hamburgers that I want to eat all the time. It's cruel for her to try to insert herself into the daily lives of Americans that just want to make their own choices on their dietary, in their meals, on their diets.